Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, good morning. It is great to spend some time with you today. If you are new here, my name is Dallin Haas, and today we're talking about your TSP. And if you are maxing out, what on earth should you do next? What on earth should you do next? Because there's a number of things that you need to be thinking about and have planned for once you get to this point. Now, if you have not maxed out your TSP yet, it's okay. Don't fret. Don't say, oh man, I wish I made more so I could. No, none of that. None of that. I want you to focus on what you can do to improve. Life is all about, okay, how do I improve just a little bit today? Just a little bit, wherever you're at. Don't compare it to anyone else. Don't compare it to whoever. Focus on you. Now, if you are new here, my name is Dallin Haas. I'm a financial planner serving you guys as federal employees, helping you guys retire comfortable and confident. So let's dive right in. So you're maxing out your TSP. What on earth do you do next? If you have some extra money, where on earth should you put it? I know it's a tough problem to have. You have some funds. Where's the best place so that your money is always working incredibly hard for you? It's a great question. So, you know there's things like Roth IRAs, normal IRAs, there's brokerage accounts, there's the Roth TSP. Where on earth should you go next? Well, we're going to talk about some of the pros and cons of all of those different types of accounts today, but one thing you have to keep in mind is that all these different accounts have different rules, and these different rules need to be optimized for your situation. And what does that mean? Well, that means that first, before we even talk about any of these things, you have to have at least an idea, and ideally a specific plan on what's your retirement plan. When do you want to stop working? Is it the traditional MRA, the minimum retirement age, about 57? Is it later? Is it in your 60s? Is it earlier? When is it? When is it? And from there, you can say, okay, what accounts will best serve you? For example, if you want to retire, let's say, in your late 40s or early 50s or whatever it is, then you may not be able to get into your TSP right away without any penalties. So what kind of accounts do you need to make sure you can actually access your money so you could get to the point, let's say 59 and a half or whatever age, depending on what accounts you have, that you can actually access your money without any penalties. For example, if that's you, if you want to retire early before you can normally get into retirement accounts, maybe getting a brokerage account set up, which a brokerage account is just a place to invest that's not a retirement account. So that money you can actually access way before other money. So again, that's the first thing is, what's your plan for retirement? What is your plan? And when are you going to need money? And you can align these different accounts that we're going to talk about today to what makes sense for you. Now, we're not going to just talk about accounts today. We're going to talk about some other things that you should definitely be prioritizing, which we'll get into now. Okay, so first things first. If you hear other finance guys on YouTube talk about, okay, once you're saving 15% for retirement, you should jump over and save into or pay off your house, or use a Roth IRA or whatever it is. There's lots of different opinions. Again, it all is based on what's your retirement plan. Let's build around that. Now, as a general rule, if you're deciding, hey, should I use an IRA or should I continue using or putting more into the TSP, my general recommendation is, hey, just keep using the TSP. IRAs are great and there's nothing technically wrong with them, but while you're working, I'm a fan of simple. I want simple. If I had a choice between having 3 different accounts and one account, I want one. I want one. So there's one place I log in, one place I go to change investments, one place I go to see what's going on. One. I like one. Now, again, if you want to save above and beyond, let's say now you are maxing out your TSP, hey, then you can go to IRAs to save more. But keep in mind, for traditional IRAs, there's an income limit when you no longer can deduct what money you put in a traditional IRA, okay? Now, if you're married and you, of course, are saving into the TSP, you could basically, once you hit about $125,000 worth of income, modified adjusted gross income, you can no longer deduct the money you put into a traditional IRA. You can still do it, but you can't deduct it on your taxes, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, with a Roth IRA, there's a similar rule, but with a nuance. Once you make above, it's about, let me check actually for this year, about $215,000 for 2022. Once you make above $215,000 as a married person, then you can actually no longer even put money into a Roth IRA. So depending on what your income is, what your spouse's income is, you may not be even able to use an IRA. So that's first things first is, okay, is an IRA available if you've already maxed out your TSP? If your income is over certain limits, then it may not even be an option. So that's kind of the IRA side. Now you could look at things like, okay, maybe you've maxed out your traditional TSP, but could you start putting money instead of the traditional into the Roth? And the reason I say that is, well, I'm already maxing out the traditional. I can't put more money above and beyond in the Roth TSP, and that's true. However, if you just lower your traditional contributions and start putting more into the Roth, well, the after-tax effect of how much you're saving for retirement goes up. It goes up, right? Because Roth money is after-tax money. So technically, it's going to cost you more in taxes now, but if you've got extra funds to invest, that may be a great way to do it. To first, keep your situation simple, keep it all within the TSP, and get more value saved for retirement, because saving $27,000 or $28,000, whatever, in the traditional TSP is worth way less than that same amount in the Roth TSP, because Roth TSP is after-tax money that you never have to pay taxes on again, and that money can grow tax-free, so all the earnings are completely tax-free again. But again, I've got lots of other videos, on the traditional versus the Roth, and when it makes sense and when it doesn't make sense, so definitely check those out on the channel or the podcast. Okay, so that's the TSP, that's an IRA. The last resort, or not necessarily the last resort, but another option is a brokerage account. And this account has pros and cons. The biggest advantage is there's very little rules, meaning you could put as much into this account as you want. You can invest it however you'd like. The disadvantage is you have to pay taxes as you go. It's not like a retirement account where you only pay taxes when you take money out of the account. In a brokerage, you pay taxes as you sell investments and as you earn income within that account. However, if you invest it in smart ways, you can often push the taxes way down the road, and brokerage accounts are actually only subject to a lower tax rate, which is called capital gains. If you're not familiar with capital gains taxes, just Google it and you'll be able to read a bunch of articles on what capital gains taxes are all about. So a brokerage account can be a great way when you say, okay, I've got extra money, where should it go? A brokerage account, again, can be a great place to supplement and to have more flexibility in retirement and to have access to lower tax rates on that money in your brokerage account compared to your traditional TSP, traditional IRA. So definitely keep that in mind as well. Now that we've talked about, those are the core different types of accounts that you should be using for retirement. What else is there? What else should you be thinking about? And we have to take a step back and look at your entire situation. So, okay, yes, we want to be prepared for retirement, but what else is there? Is there anything else that we're missing that we need to plan for? And now we got to think of, okay, what about kids' college? Do you have kids? Are you going to pay for their college? Is there a big wedding coming up? Is there big anything coming up? Are you planning to move in retirement? Do you have the funds needed for that retirement home? Are you just going to use your current equity in your current home and just move that over? Is it going to cost more? Is it going to cost less? You got to start looking and stepping back. Okay, what else am I planning for? Okay, let me actually take a whole step back. Do you have an emergency fund? You have to lay the foundations first. Do you have an emergency fund? Do you have high interest debt? If you do, take care of that first. That is priority by a long shot. I hope those things are already taken care of if you made it this far in the video, okay? So that's the next thing is, okay, let's make a plan for, after, of course, you have the foundation of an emergency fund, all high interest debt is paid for, you're maxing out your TSP, maybe putting some money in a brokerage account or a Roth IRA, depending on your income. Once those things are done, okay, what other things are we looking at here? Obviously, you want to look at your mortgage. Do you still have a mortgage? Do you have car loans? What do you have out there? And what's your plan for your mortgage and your cars by retirement? Let's say you're 5 years out for retirement or 10 years out from retirement. What's your plan and your budget for retirement? Have you ran your retirement numbers? What income are you going to have? What's your pension going to look like? What's your first supplement or your Social Security and your TSP? What is all that going to look like? Is that going to be enough? Is that going to be enough? For some people, the biggest thing that allows them to retire is because they're able to pay off their mortgage before they retire, and therefore it brings down how much money they need to actually retire. Let's say someone's mortgage is $1,200, not counting insurance and taxes. Let's say it's $1,200. Well, that means they need $1,200 less of income in retirement to be able to live and do all the same things that they did before. That's an amazing thing. So it doesn't make sense for everyone, especially for some people that just refinanced, right? In the last couple of years when interest rates were low. It doesn't make sense for everyone to have that paid off by retirement. But for some, what's your plan? What's your plan? Do you have a plan to get that paid off by retirement? Is it close? If you just increase your payments a little bit, can you get there? Because if you do, it can really, really help you out cash flow wise and how much money you have for retirement. So those are the sort of things you should be thinking about if you're maxing out your TSP. You got to take a step back. What's my plan? What's my overall plan? Is there anything I'm neglecting? Is there anything I need to double down on? What's my plan and what type of accounts will help me in retirement the most? Whether you're planning to retire, what age are you planning to retire? What accounts can you get into right away? That is huge. Some people retire thinking, I could just access my TSP right away. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, depending on when you retire, what type of retirement you have, and lots of details. Now, I know there's a million things I could take this video, but there's tons of other videos on my podcast and YouTube channel about the nuances of things like the traditional TSP versus Roth TSP, what you should be deciding, and all the other things like that. So definitely check it out and find the videos that are most relevant for you. So share in the comments below, where are you at in this journey? Are you maxing out your TSP? What other accounts are you using? So we can all learn and share and get better together. So I hope that's helpful. Have an incredible rest of your week, your day, your month, your year, all that good stuff. See you next time.